glass half full person or a glass half empty person? Are you an optimist, a pessimist, or a realist? And if you're an optimist or a glass half full person, do you have to work at that? Do you have to remind yourself of the reasons to try and be positive and look at things in a positive light all the time? The reason I'm asking you all these nosy questions is because I've been thinking a lot about this topic recently and really trying to train my own brain to be more positive. Welcome to Tea and Empathy. I'm Pen Friend, and this is my weekly chat with you about all sorts of things to do with music, creativity, and generally trying to get things done as a human in a big, confusing, sometimes very frightening world. I'm a totally independent music producer and solo artist living and working in Nottingham in the UK, working in this currently very sweaty attic room, which I call the Launchpad. Welcome. I would say that about a year and a half ago, I was feeling very much like a glass half empty person, though I hadn't put that label on it yet. I released an album called 1 in a Thousand, which is a collaboration album with Rap from Ned's Atomic Dustbin, and it did really well. It was very exciting. And if you supported that album, thank you so much for getting involved and making it the success that it was. That project was not an easy one. It took 4 years from start to finish, and we had all sorts of things going on, like a pandemic and financial troubles and, the normal stuff of life that happens, whether or not you're trying to record and release an album into the world, basically on your own. So of course I got very caught up in that, and all I could think about was getting the album released. I didn't think beyond it at all in any way. And it was only when the album came out and I felt this kind of relief, excitement, and then a massive slump did I realise my mistake. And that was not having a plan for the rest of the year, for the rest of my life outside of that project. So it took me a few months of sort of picking myself back up again and lots of self-reflection and stuff to realise that I had become one of the things that I do not want to be, which is a glass half empty person, a pessimist. Before that, I probably would have called myself a realist because being an optimist was never something I thought I could or should be. Because I live in the real world and I work alone, and I've been trying for so long to keep making and releasing albums. I was so focused on trying to make things happen in the real world that sort of dreaming of bigger things seemed faintly ridiculous. And I thought it was a real plus point to just be realistic. And I didn't really think of that as being pessimistic, but I think I do a little bit now, because I had a different name for many years. I used to record and release music under the name She Makes War. And when I look back on that entire project, I see how much I managed to do. The project did grow and grow over the 10 years that I released music under that name. But one of my abiding memories is of just feeling like I didn't really deserve anything. And so anything that came along, I would be super grateful for. And I do believe that gratitude is very important, but I also now believe that I was holding myself back. When I realised I was being a pessimist and that I didn't want to be a pessimist, because, if you're a pessimist and you love being a pessimist and that drives you in your life, that's great, isn't it? But it wasn't driving me in my life. It was making me feel really terrible. So I decided that I had to start working on my brain. And I realised that it was many years of conditioning that made me feel the way I did about things. And so the way that I have dealt with that is through meditation, 10 minutes at a time, sitting, listening to guided meditations from the mindful movement here on YouTube, actually. Doing more yoga, doing more exercise in general, and just trying to stop those negative thoughts when they come up from enveloping me and dictating how my day goes. Because there's something really beautiful, which is the idea of picturing your thoughts and your feelings as clouds passing over you in the sky. And you can acknowledge those thoughts, but sort of wave them off on their merry way as they pass you by. And that has really helped me over the past year-ish to try and sort of ward off those negative voices that I have in my head, that tell me I'm no good, I don't deserve success, I should probably get a real job, I should probably not play the bass or the guitar or do any of the things that I love doing, and that I have proven over several albums that I can do in a way that some people really enjoy. So these aren't really even thoughts to take seriously. They're not legitimate concerns, but they're still in there. And sometimes I forget that I can just go, thank you for that. moving on sort of thing in my head. And so I suppose I'm talking about this right now because I want to keep doing that. This is day 15 or 14, I can't remember, of recording my new Pen Friend album at home in this attic here. Now, as it's day 14 and it's a Thursday, day 15 of recording is tomorrow, which is a Friday, which was the original deadline of this whole project. And I just want to say, I do not feel bad that I'm not going to be finishing the record tracking tomorrow. That's fine. Just because I can write down a thing on a piece of paper, I'm going to do such and such, doesn't mean it's physically possible to do it. But I do think I prefer this version of me who writes that down and can believe it to a point and try and make it happen, versus the one who didn't think that there was any point in recording anything at all. And, you know, my songs are no good, I'm no good, what is music, and all that sort of nonsense that goes on in my head. And it's only reflecting on that today that has made me realise how far I've come in the last year and a half towards my goal of being an effortless optimist, which again might be a little bit of an optimistic goal, because as I asked earlier, I'm very curious to know if you're an optimist, have to work at that. Do you have to keep trying to be an optimist? Because you know what? I look at the news and I think, what the f*** is there to be optimistic about? What does any of this matter? What does recording my album matter versus all of that? Do you ever feel like that about your life and the things that you're trying to do in your life? I feel like that all the time. Of course, I see things like that and I think, how could I be an optimist in this kind of a world? And then I think, that's why we have to try, isn't it? Try to be positive, try to encourage other people, try to be kind, try to add things to the world instead of taking away from it. I want to add things to the world. And I have to believe, because otherwise I'm sort of completely f***ed, I have to believe that the activities that I feel the urge to do, writing music, releasing music, making videos, talking to you, I have to believe that they mean something. Because whether they do or don't, the internet is full of people who want to talk to you. And so why shouldn't I be one of those people? There's a lot of very unintelligent, hate-filled stuff littering the internet. And that's one of the reasons I want to keep creating little spaces like this video, like this YouTube channel, like my albums, like my live streams and everything. I want to keep trying to add to the world. And now, that thing about being kind is being put to the test, because I've got some neighbours. They absolutely love their pop music, and at random times of the day, weekdays and weekends, we all get to enjoy that music. How to wrap this up, you may wonder. Good question. I'd just like to leave you with a little bit of encouragement. If you are feeling down at the moment, if you're feeling hopeless about your future, if you're feeling like you can't start a project, if you're feeling like you're the eternal pessimist and you can never change anything in your life, please know that I was in your position not too long ago, and I'm feeling so much better now. The doubts haven't gone. I still have that voice, like I was saying earlier, telling me I'm no good at playing the bass, can't play in time, can't play in tune, what is a bass line, and all that. And I just have to keep ignoring that voice. It's a little cloud in the sky that's just gonna zoop, go off into the distance, replaced by another cloud of indecision and doubt probably, but I just have to keep dealing with that. Thoughts are not facts. Fortune favours the brave. You're great. I believe in you. I believe in me. Even when I don't believe in me, I believe in me. Ultimately, because I have to, don't I? Don't we just have to try and do our best? I think that's what it's all about. Even when they're blasting Ed Sheeran in the garden. Oh my God. So I'm going to leave you now because this is no good. I'm going to put my headphones on, I'm going to play some more bass guitar, I'm going to give Daisy, my visiting dog friend, a little cuddle, and I hope to see you next week when I will possibly be taking you to donate blood with me in Nottingham City Centre. If you didn't know, there's a shortage of blood supplies in the UK at the moment. I heard about it from Jim Bob from Carter USM on Twitter, so don't tell me that going on social media is a complete waste of time. I didn't know about this till I read that, and then I booked myself in to go and give blood tomorrow. So if you're able to give blood, please consider signing up and doing that. Click the link in the description to go to the blood.co.uk website, and you can directly help someone with that. So however useless we may be feeling today, some of us will be able to go and give blood and help someone else out who really, really needs it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week. Ask me anything in the comments below and I'll see you next Saturday. If you want another video, YouTube thinks you'll like this one, and I'm going to go and give Daisy a little cuddle now because she does not like Ed Sheeran. This dog is so camera shy. I have to follow her under the desk. Daisy.